Okay, so Black Friday's here and the holidays are coming up, so it's a great time to start thinking about what presents you need to buy for friends, family, or even yourself. In this video, I'm going to talk about some tech products that I recommend over €100, so they'll be a little bit more premium. If you need to have some more budget-friendly options, I did post a video going over tech products under €100. I'll leave that link down below in case you want to check that one out. Once again, I've checked on Amazon to see if I can find any good deals, but these are all products that I use on a regular basis, if not daily, so I can stand behind them, and I personally probably paid full price for them over the past year or two. If I do see a good alternative, I will link it down below as another option for you to check out, but anything that I talk about will be something that I use myself. Okay, so the first product that I want to talk about is the original M1 MacBook Air. I think that this is the perfect laptop for the vast majority of people. It comes in at under €1,000 and it's the entry-level MacBook, but it's more than capable of doing everything that anyone could ever want. It's great for word processing, web browsing, consuming content, creating content, anything that you could throw at it, this laptop is more than capable of doing. So my girlfriend got this laptop back in March of 2021, so a year and a half ago now at this stage, and it still feels like she got it yesterday. The laptop comes in 3 different colours. You can get silver, space grey, or this cool gold or bronze colour depending on your preference. I'd personally go for the space grey, but there are options there for you. And yeah, just overall it's a really great laptop. It can do everything that you want, and it's silent because there's no fans in there, but it's really powerful. It was more powerful than most laptops back when it came out in 2020, and it still really is more powerful than most laptops today in 2022. You could spend a little bit more and get the M2 MacBook Air, but from what I can tell from reviews and stuff like that, I think the value is still in the M1 MacBook Air. So I personally still use the M1 MacBook Pro, and I definitely wouldn't recommend that for anyone at the moment. It's just positioned weirdly and the pricing doesn't really make sense, but the M1 MacBook Air is perfect for anyone who needs just an entry-level laptop to do everything pretty well. If you need a more powerful machine, I think you'd already know that, but you're more likely to go for the 14 or the 16-inch laptops. But for most people, the M1 MacBook Air is more than capable of doing everything that you could want. So the next product I want to talk about is the Kindle. So the Kindle Paperwhite is one of the best purchases I think anyone can ever make, and it's also a great product to get someone as a present if you're not too sure what to get them, because we all know that reading is really good. We should all do more reading. I'm guilty of it, I don't read enough, but having a Kindle just reduces the friction to reading and makes it that bit easier. So I got my Kindle Paperwhite back in 2020, but the 2022 version has some cool improvements like waterproofing and color temperature adjustment. So you can adjust the color temperature of the screen when you're reading at nighttime. So they do have a basic Kindle for under €100, which is a solid option if you're on a budget, but I would recommend spending that little bit more on the Kindle Paperwhite. They also have a more expensive version called the Kindle Paperwhite Signature, which probably isn't worth getting. I think the only difference is it has wireless charging, and to be honest, that's not something that I think is important, so not really worth getting. Another plus about the Kindle is you can start reading straight away, so you download it in the app and it's on your Kindle straight away once it's connected to Wi-Fi. And they're also a little bit cheaper than the real books, so if you do read a lot of books, you'll end up saving money over the long term. Okay, so if you're like me and you spend a lot of time sitting at your desk, it's important to have a keyboard that you like and can comfortably type at for a long period of time. Over the years, my preference has changed, so it is really down to personal preference, but I do have 3 keyboards here that I think are a great option for most people. So the first option is the Magic Keyboard. Now obviously this is only for Mac users, but this is a really solid keyboard. It's really nice to type at and it's very compact on your desk. The only major issue I have with this one is it can't connect to multiple devices, so if that's an issue for you, then don't go for this one. But if you do only use one computer at a time and it is a MacBook, then this is a really solid option. It looks great, types really well, and is small on your desk, so it doesn't take up too much space. So the next option is pretty much the opposite to the Magic Keyboard, and it's a mechanical keyboard from a company called Keychron. It's their K2 keyboard. Now I am aware that I got this probably 2 years ago now at this stage, so they have loads of different options, and I'm sure there's a lot of better options out there, but if they're anything like the Keychron K2, I can definitely recommend any of the Keychron keyboards. So I went with the red switches, and it's a solid keyboard. It's pretty much the same form factor as the Magic Keyboard. It doesn't have the numpad, but it has kind of a function row and the arrow keys, but it is a lot more chunky. My preference has gone away from the chunky kind of keyboard. You do kind of need a wrist rest with this one, and there is a nice tactile feel when you're typing on it. And the good thing about this one is it's Bluetooth and it can connect up to 3 devices. So if you do switch between devices, the Keychron is a great option for you. And lastly, the one that's my daily driver, the Logitech MX Keys Mini. So the reason that I got this, and I'm not gonna lie, is because it's the closest thing to the Magic Keyboard while having extra features. So it's very similar shape, very similar size. It's a low profile keyboard, but it has the ability to connect to up to 3 Bluetooth devices. So I switch between my personal laptop and my work laptop pretty regularly, so I want to be able to just tap a button and be able to switch, whereas the Magic Keyboard, you have to be stuck to one. Also, it matches the design of my mouse, which is nice. It just makes it look really nice and clean. And if I ever do go back to a Windows machine, this laptop will be able to connect to that as well, because it works for both Windows and Mac. It has a backlight, which is a nice feature if you're working in the dark and you don't really have any other lights. Not too big a deal for me because I have a monitor light, but could be beneficial for you. Battery life is amazing. It takes up very little space on your desk, and overall it's just a solid keyboard. Another bonus is it's really silent. You can't really hear it compared to the mechanical keyboard, which is quite loud. So if you're into a more quiet keyboard, this is a great option for you. So I have a full review of this keyboard, so I'll leave that link down below in case you want to check it out. But yeah, overall it's a really solid keyboard. So next thing I want to talk about is a monitor. So a good monitor is really important for any desk setup, and the one you go for obviously really depends on the budget. You can go from anywhere from like €50 right up to £6,000 for Apple's Pro Display XDR, but getting any monitor for a setup will instantly improve it. So my first monitor was from Samsung and it cost like €150, so pretty cheap, and it was pretty basic in terms of features. I think it had one HDMI and not much going on with it, but it was a solid starter kit because I was on a budget. Then around 18 months ago I got the monitor that I'm still using today, and you can see it in the shot. It is the LG 27UL850-W, and I love this monitor. It's 27 inches, which is the perfect size for me, and the picture quality is really good. Okay, so I'm not the most knowledgeable in terms of displays, but I have the stats here and I'm going to read them out, and I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments if I've got it wrong, but this is my understanding. This monitor is 3840 by 2160, and that is known as UHD, so that's 4 times better than HD, ultra high def. And for monitors, sometimes they kind of interchangeably use ultra high definition and 4K, but really 4K in cinema terms is 4096 by 2160, so slightly wider. So I'm not sure whether this is actually 4K or not. All I know is it's really good quality from what I can tell, and it does a perfect job for me. But yeah, for the average user, this is a great screen for day-to-day use and productivity. You can even use it for gaming a bit, but it's definitely not a gaming monitor. But if you're like me and you play every so often on a games console, it does the job. So the main reason why I went for this monitor is because of the USB-C charging capabilities. If you're like me and you have the M1 MacBook Pro or the MacBook Air, you'll know that you only have 2 USB-C ports, and with this monitor I can plug in one cable, it'll extend the displays and also charge it at the same time, and then leave me with one USB-C port free. So if this monitor is out of your budget, then I'd recommend the lower version called the 550. Essentially it's the same monitor, it just doesn't have the USB-C connectivity, and then if that one's too expensive, I'd recommend something like the Samsung that I mentioned earlier. I've also left a few links to some BenQ monitors down below which have USB-C connectivity. I've personally never used the BenQ monitors, but I have read some good reviews online about them, and they're on offer for Black Friday on Amazon. Okay, so the next product I want to talk about is probably a bit of a big investment, but definitely worth it in the long run, and that is a standing desk. Mine is called the Jarvis standing desk from a company called Fully. It's probably on the more expensive side in terms of standing desks. I know you can get cheaper versions on Amazon, but I thought it would be worth investing a few extra quid and getting one that I know will last a good few years. You can get the frame on its own, but I personally went for the frame and tabletop. I got the dark bamboo version just because I thought it looked nice. And the reason I went for that is because they drilled the screw holes in it already, so it makes assembly nice and easy. Personally, I'm still working from home full time, so it's great to be able to switch between sitting and standing. The keypad here has 4 presets, so you can memorize exactly the height that you want. You just tap a button and it goes up to it really quickly. It's pretty quiet and it's very solid. I did a full review on it a few months ago and I mentioned that it was quite unstable. I realized that that is just because I have it on a thick carpet, but now that it's kind of sunk into the carpet a bit. It's really solid and I've had no issues with stability. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's a really solid product from Fully, very well built and definitely worth investing in if you think you might use a standing desk. So next product I want to talk about is a little bit different, but it's a gimbal for your phone. If you're interested in getting really smooth footage with your phone, then a gimbal is a great option for you. I personally got mine over a year ago. It's the Zhiyun Smooth Q3, and looking at the market, it still holds up pretty well compared to the competition. If you want to buy the gimbal on its own, it comes in at under €100, but with the kit and the carrying case and all that kind of stuff, it comes in at over €100. So they have new models out called the Smooth 5 and 5S, and they may be a little bit better. I'm not too sure, but from what I can tell, the Smooth Q3 still stands up pretty well, and it's a good bit cheaper. Overall, this is a really cool piece of tech to have in your kit. It's not too expensive and it just allows you to take smoother videos with your phone and get into kind of cooler positions and only use one hand. It also comes with a little tripod so you can prop it up if you want. So the last thing on the list is a pair of noise cancelling headphones or earbuds. I think that there's space for both options in your kit, but I do understand that they can be quite expensive. For me personally, I have the AirPods Pro Gen 1 for just everyday use, going to the gym and stuff like that. And then when I really need to use noise cancellation and shut the world out, I have my Bose QC35 Mark II. I do understand that these are older models, and if you do have the money, I'd invest in newer versions. But personally, I think that they stand up pretty well against the competition. The new AirPods Pro do seem a bit better. They seem to have much better noise cancellation, but I don't think that it's worth upgrading from the original AirPods Pro. So if you do find a deal on the AirPods Pro original ones, definitely go for it because there's not too much of a difference. And obviously the Gen 2 will be a lot more expensive. In terms of overhead earphones, again, I'm going to stick with mine. I don't think there's any reason for me to upgrade, but if I was buying a new pair, it would be a toss-up between the Sony XM4 or the Bose QC45s. If the new Bose are anything like my ones, they're really comfortable, great battery life, and they just have a few improvements like USB-C connectivity. I did also see that Bose have a kind of more budget-friendly option called the Bose QC SEs, and they come in at under €200, which is actually a really good deal. So if you're on a bit of a budget but you do want some high quality overhead earphones with noise cancellation, maybe check out the Bose QC SEs. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'll leave everything linked down below for you to check out, and I'll add in any updated links if I see some good deals over Black Friday. Again, if you missed my under €100 video, make sure you check that out, and if you did enjoy it, please subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.